Hey, 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 my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. We are kicking off this week with our full moon in Gemini, and our sun is moving in to Capricorn season. Yes, hello, Capricorn season. If you are new here, hey, Danny C. Muniz, intuitive astrologer, spiritual counselor for healers, coaches, and conscious leaders who are ready to trust their inner guidance system so that they can fulfill their soul's mission. My friend, I am blessed and honored as always to bring these weekly sidereal astrology forecast to you. If you are looking for our bigger overview, be sure to check out our January forecast where I talk all about what is happening this month. And then every single week we break it down in these forecasts of what's kind of happening this week. If you are catching this on the YouTube channel, good to see you, my friend. If you are on the podcast, yes, there is two versions of this for you. So you can listen to this over on the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. You can find it here on YouTube or on any of your favorite platforms, as well as watching it right here on YouTube. So you can see the charts here on YouTube, but if you just want to listen to me, you can take me with you on your walk while you do your errands or while you're working over on the podcast. Now, you know, I love to start these videos off with our state of the planets. So let's look at where everybody is hanging out as we begin this week. This is for January 13th through the 19th. We kick off this week right here at 29 degrees, and this is at noon. So by the end of the day, roughly around 9:30 or so, the sun will move out of Sagittarius and it will move into Capricorn. But we are kicking off the early part of this day here in Sagittarius, and then we will be moving in to Capricorn. We've got right here, we've got Mercury, who is in Sagittarius as well. And we also have got Pluto right here coming into, it's getting really close to that conjunction. It is going to be conjunct this week. And so we'll talk about that in this video as well, what that means and how to work with that energy. If we come down over here, the complete opposite, this does show that full moon energy with our moon over here in Gemini at 27 degrees. So it's going to hit that full moon and then it's going to move right out into Cancer. So we'll have that full moon energy that we've had over the weekend. And then now we've got this energy moving into Cancer. Our Mars is also kicking off this week in Cancer still. We are at 2 degrees here. It will be moving back into Gemini. Not quite yet, but it is going to be moving back there. We've also got Jupiter in retrograde in Taurus and Uranus in retrograde in Aries. We've got Chiron over here in Pisces, Neptune is over here in Pisces, and then we've got this conjunction here of Saturn and Venus, which I talked about in the overview, talked about in last week's video about this commitment energy that we're seeing right here with this Venus and Saturn conjunction. Those are both in Aquarius. All right, there's our state of the planets, my friend. Let's go ahead and kick off with our sun. And a couple things I want to talk about with the sun. Now, this does come into a play to this week. There's two things. We've got our sun in opposition to Mars here, as well as the sun conjunct Pluto, which we'll see come in on the 15th here. We'll see sun moved into Capricorn, and now we've got this Pluto energy here. So let's talk about these two really quick. The other ones we did talk about in the overview and last week, so I don't want to get into those. I really want to focus in on what's going on with these two. The sun opposite Mars, we did talk about last week, and it was coming in right there on the end of the week, which was the 12th, and it'll be just through this week right here. And so I really do want to bring this out because this is a little bit more of a tense, aggressive, competitive energy. There's a lot of strong passion that's really coming through with this opposition of the sun and Mars, as well as if we add in that Pluto energy. Pluto is also very much about power and influence and really domination of things. And so there's a lot of aggressive, really dominant energy coming through over this week. And so you may feel people trying to, put their dominate, how do I say this? Their power over you or dominate you in some way, shape, or form. There's risk for arguments, conflicts, definitely some bottled up energy that is needing to be expressed. My friend, this is something that can definitely happen. And I'm going to say, if you are feeling some of that bottled up energy and you're looking for a way to move through that energy, a couple of the ways that I would recommend right off the bat with this would be first off with some type of movement activity, whether that is playing a sport, going for a run, doing, if you're back at the gym. I know a lot of people are back at the gym right now. If you're back at the gym, hitting the stairs, right? Doing that stair climber or taking a more physical type class. I'm the one who's in the dance type movement classes. Those are the ones that I like. So your Zumba, you'll find me there. But maybe it's, something that has a little bit more movement with it. Although I would love to say yoga. I think yoga and Pilates are really great. This energy though, it's not, maybe more Pilates than, well, maybe both, but I really feel like this is more of an aggressive energy that needs to get out in a much more really moving and releasing type situation. You can also do some somatic breath work. So you can look, the channel here has our Magic Mondays where we do somatic breath work. I also have a 22-day breath work challenge that is on a private podcast that you can listen to anytime. You get access to all of the episodes, so you can listen to any of the 22 breath work that maybe fit with what you're feeling. If you already have that, go back to it and you can use that as well. Journaling is also really good. If you're somebody that is an external processor like me, then using your notes app on your phone or your voice recorder just to get that out is also really good. I love to just go for some walks or go for some really intense walks, put some Linkin Park on. That really helps me, or, some type of really intense music. So that's you. Then I'd highly, highly recommend moving that energy in some way, shape, or form, because it might get a little intense, my friend. Let's go ahead and talk about the conjunction with Pluto, because this is going to be a little bit longer. So it comes in here on the 15th, and it's going to be here through the end of the month around the 26th. It is going to have its peak right there in the middle. But keep in mind that, Pluto is all about transformation, the death and the rebirth. It's also, there's a lot of power, control, dominance energy that comes in with Pluto. Pluto is small but mighty, and it brings a really deep, intense energy to it. So those deeper emotions, deep psychological insights. So really encouraging self-reflection, understanding of your inner motivations. The good thing about this is every time we see the conjunction with Pluto, it's a really good opportunity to release some of those old habits, release those relationships, release those environments that are not in alignment with who you are and who you choose to be in this new cycle, in this new evolution, whether that's the new year or something different. There's this really great energy to release that. Now, you can also see some really positive energy here around really having that intense drive and motivation to achieve the thing that it is that you're going for, to achieve the thing that you desire, whatever it might lead for you, whatever you're wanting to gain, to manifest, to bring into your reality in this year. Now, again, I did talk about some of those power struggles, especially with that Mars. There's just a lot of that deep, intense, powerful energy right here. So use it to your advantage, my friend. Don't let what other people are doing get in your head, get in your body. Let it all go, release it, use this energy to do just that, because this can be a really transformative new beginning for you if you allow it to. All right, so let's move on to our sun moving into Capricorn. So the sun moves into Capricorn late on January 13th. As we can see, it's already here in Capricorn. And it will be in this energy until February 12th. So let's talk a little bit about the Capricorn energy, the zodiac energy of Capricorn as the sun moves through that. So every time the sun moves through a new zodiac sign, our consciousness or our mental focus tends to shift. We also see this with the Mercury, and they go pretty much hand in hand. Mercury is usually about a sign or so away from where the sun is, and so we'll see this transition between the two. Currently, Mercury is in Sagittarius, and it will be moving into Capricorn in just a bit, right? Because it was retrograde, so it's kind of behind the sun right now. But the sun's like really conscious focus is all earth based. So Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. It is an earth element, and it is very much about the goals, the plan, the long-term achievement. So Capricorn rules over the energy of government and big corporations. So we think of those foundations, those solid foundations, those traditional kind of ideas of things that are in place. So when Saturn Capricorn energy comes in, we're looking at the foundations. We're looking at the stability of things and what it is that we need to do to achieve that desire, to achieve that foundation, that stability, that structure. So there's an increased motivation to really work hard and stay disciplined. Capricorn is really known for being disciplined and working hard. So much so that it's got that determination to focus in on whatever it is that it needs to get done. So there's a lot of energy here around planning, a lot of energy around creating some structure and order to things. So in Sagittarius and Aquarius, things have kind of, in Sagittarius and then in Aquarius, things can kind of feel a little, out there, a little free, right? Sagittarius is very free. Capricorn kind of like brings us back and brings in that structure. So if you've been feeling like, I just need to get stuff in, I just need to get in order, I just need to get stuff in aligned, then this is the season that you've been waiting for, because Capricorn is here after all of that freedom and exploration. It's really here to bring in some grounded structure for us. So we'll be feeling a need or a desire to create some stabilities, to create some solid foundations in different areas or aspects of your life. Now, we tend to think of goals, right, during this time, during this season, which is why I always say Capricorn is the best time to set your goals. Sagittarius has been such a great time for visioning and exploring and expanding. Now it's like, okay, what's the plan for that, right? Where are we headed? What are we going to do? How are we going to achieve the thing? And so you might find yourself feeling, like, okay, let's get these commitments down, wanting to be more responsible or get things in like order, or, feeling like, okay, it's time to buckle down and do the thing. So there is more of a practical approach, or more of a realistic mindset that happens with Capricorn. So where Sagittarius was very open and freeing and allowing us to have that bigger vision, Capricorn loves to ground it in, which for me, I have found that setting my goals has been the best as I work through both of these seasons of allowing myself to vision, to dream, to explore, and then really coming in and being like, okay, well, what is it, right? If I want to say I want to make $1 million this year in my business, and I've only made $50,000 in my business in prior years, that's a huge gap. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I really want to look at what is practical, because making that big of a leap is going to take a lot of structure, a lot of having some really good strategies in place. And so I might not be prepared for that. And so I can look and say, okay, if I can look at, what would 250K look like? What would 300 look like? That would be a really good practical goal for me to achieve, looking at the habits that I'll need to have or I'll need to create in order to achieve that. Right now, if 1 million comes and I've done these habits and strategies, then great. But I'm really looking at this from a practical place. And this is where I'm still telling you to think big. I'm still telling you to go for that bigger dream. That $1 million might be in 2 years, might be in 3 years, but we're looking at what is the practical idea here with Capricorn. So this is really good time to look at your ambitions, your personal ambitions, your business ambitions, your career ambitions. When we're looking at our reputations, how are we perceived by others? Capricorn is so big on that, is how are people perceiving us? How are people looking at us? And what is the thing that we are known for? Now, as spiritual business owners like me, if you are one of those, you understand the importance of our reputation. You understand the importance of what it is that you are known for. And so I'm going to invite you to explore this year. What is it that you want to be known for? What is that one thing that you want to be known for? And how can you double down on that? All right, my friend. So this is our Capricorn energy for this new season, this new cycle. I invite you to go in and explore those plans, go in and explore what that's going to look like for you for this year, create that structure for yourself. And this is the great time to have that discipline to do just that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to continue back on with our full moon in Gemini. And this is taking place here on Monday the 13th at 4:27 p.m. So this is when it is perfected. Right here, you'll see that opposition. So when we look at this, we've got a couple of things in play here, right? We've got that opposition, as always, to the sun. We've got the conjunction over here with Mars. We've got a sextile over here to Uranus, a square to Chiron. We've got this North Node Neptune conjunction that is trine this moon, as well as our South Node over here with that sextile. So bringing all of that together, what does that mean? So some of the themes that I'm really seeing with this energy here is communication, first off, with Gemini, really having that flexibility and mental agility, right? That emotional expression when we combine the moon and the sun. We are also looking at, when I like to look at the full moons from the sun and the moon perspective. So the sun being in Sagittarius here and the moon being in Gemini, these are both really learner, perspective type energies, where Gemini is really social and it's like wanting to be, the master of everything. It's knowing all, it's getting all of the knowledge, where Sagittarius is like, I'm the master of this thing. Like I'm the mentor, I'm the professor of this thing. And it really zones in. It has a wide knowledge, but it's really zoned in on one really big idea or perspective. And so those two ideas are really at play here with this, where Gemini is really promoting that curiosity, that versatility, with layers and layers and layers of intensity, innovation, and introspection, with these aspects over here with Mars, Uranus, and Neptune. So you can think of this as the moon conjunct Mars is passion, and passionate and courageous expression, hitting matters head on, where the Uranus is bringing that excitement and unexpected insights and new fresh energy to things, where we're seeing Chiron is bringing those wounds, right? Those old wounds, those insecurities, especially around self-expression and communication. And so I'm going to say this is a really great time for you to pull in, right, the ideas of all of this together to say, where am I blocking my self-expression? Where am I blocking my communication? Am I allowing myself to be heard, right? Am I expressing all of the things that I want to express, right? In the way that feels good for me to express them. Now, with the spiritual connection here to Neptune, which is something that I always say, and we've got that North Node energy here, it's really looking at where I'm moving into in the future. And I'm going to invite you, as somebody who is on the spiritual path, to tune into your guides, your guardians, to creation, and feel into what is this connection look like? What does it look like in this new year as I strive to express myself in a much more aligned way, right? There's one thing to be like, oh, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to express all the things, and do it in a way that feels right for you. Not everybody is loud. Not everybody is, really, I'm more of an introvert myself personally. So when I'm in bigger groups, I tend to step back and let the group kind of lead the conversation and maybe chime in here and there. But you get me in a one-on-one and I've got lots to share with you, right? And so it's, how do I want to express myself? How do I want to do that for myself in this new year? So some things you can do, obviously, under a full moon releases are pretty common. So you can do that through like a journaling, a meditation. There's a ritual that you like to do. Candle magic is probably one of my favorite and simplest things that you can do when it comes to ritual. But really allowing yourself to take some time to look into some of these themes around communication and self-expression, and explore what your thoughts are, explore how you feel about this, and let go of any of the things, like really be intentional about the things that are not serving you. And call in the guidance, right? Call in the guidance of what it is that you want to receive, what it is that you want to allow for. Now, down in the comments, I'm going to, in the show notes and in the description, I was like, what is it called? I'll put some questions for you that you can use for letting go. And I'll state them here. I've got 5 of them. So what outdated beliefs or thought patterns am I ready to release? How can I communicate my needs and emotions more effectively? What past hurts related to self-expression am I willing to let go? In what ways can I be more open to innovative ideas and perspectives? And how can I balance my logical mind with my intuitive insights? My friends, these are all really great questions for you to really sit down and explore and go through some type of ritual, even if it's just lighting a simple candle and reflecting on these questions. All right, let's go ahead and move on from this to Mercury. As I said, Mercury is here in Sagittarius, and we've got a couple of transits that are happening this week with Mercury. So Mercury is going to be sextile Saturn here. We see the conjunction there with Venus. And then on the 17th, we see some more pop in. We see Chiron over here making a square over here to Chiron. So let's talk about those two and how that's influencing the Mercury energy, or the mercurial, I should say, energy. So Mercury with Saturn is always really good for clear thinking, good judgment, really getting things organized and having that mentality to be able to do so. So if you're like, oh, things are just feeling all over the place, I really need to get things organized, the mind will be really good at being clear about how to kind of get things in order and organize things. Catching up on paperwork is always really good. Studying, researching, these are good because you'll have an increased focus and concentration and memory. This is also a good time to, how do I say this? Connect with your ancestors and your past. Anytime we're talking about Saturn, or Cancer for that matter, with the moon, where we are always looking at those ancestral lineages and lines, because Saturn rules over that very traditional idea. And so we can look at the wisdom of our past, the wisdom of our ancestors. We don't just look at past lives. We don't just, look into our ancestors to just do all the healing, and I'm going to put that in quotations, because healing can also be in bringing the wisdom, bringing the information to the present, into this lifetime, tapping into that collective empowerment that we receive from past experiences and in our ancestral realm. And then with the Mercury square Chiron, so this one over here, Chiron is those wounds, but this is an opportunity for you to work through some things and really find validation for your message, for your wisdom, for what it is that you want to share in this new year, in how with this full moon energy of bringing up that self-expression idea and using this Chiron energy to be like, okay, like I might have struggled to have my voice heard or expressed to my thoughts or expressed to myself. Now we can use some of that past to really find some really strong messaging for ourselves into this new year. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Mars. So with Mars, we had that Venus and we have one coming in for Mars. And this is the last one that I'm going to talk about here. And this is the square with Chiron. So this one over here. We talked about these other ones already. We talked about them also in the January overview as well as last week. But this one right here with Chiron comes in on the 17th. And so when we talk about Chiron, we're talking about those wounds. And so as I mentioned with Mercury, where it's bringing up some of those old stories, there is a drive and a motivation here along with that Mercury energy to move past some of these things, to move through them and discover a new relationship with them. I'm a strong believer, my friend, that we don't forget these things. We're not one and done. That's not, I'm healed and I'm all good now. It's having a different relationship with that story, with that experience, so that we can really come through our lives in a much better place. Like learning, to not get frustrated with my dad or my mom or my family in any way. It's changed my relationship with how I see them, with how I think about them, with how I feel about them, because I've worked through things. Now, am I going to forget all the things? Am I going to just push that all away and put it under the rug and be like, oh, we're good, it's all good now? No, those things are still there, but the intensity of the frustration or the anger or the hurt or the sadness, whatever those feelings are not driving that relationship that I have anymore, right? It's completely different. Even though I may not have a relationship with them, it's still the way that I perceive them, the way that I talk about them, the way that I allow myself to engage with that energy is very different. So there is this potential here for you to really feel driven or really wanting to work through some of those past obstacles, some of those past challenges. This is also a really good opportunity to step into some more leadership in the way of leading through these things or leading others through these things. This is kind of what happens with this energy, especially with this square. It's just, I would say, the best opportunity to kind of do some deeper work and go into those deeper issues of personal power and independence, especially with that Mars energy. So my friend, we've got a really good releasing energy movement this week. We've got that power dynamic, and we've also got, this really beautiful opportunity to get focused, get clear, and be able to move through this new year in a beautiful place. So I want to take this opportunity to let you know that Capricorn season is the best time to set that vision for 2025, to really concrete, make that plan of action. And that is what we are doing in our reset retreat. That is taking place on January 16th through the 18th. We've started our pre-event reflection workshops because we've got 3 things that we do in this retreat. We reflect, we align, and we design our 2025. And so if you would like to join us, come on over to thepeaceteacher.com/reset, and you can learn all about the retreat. But this is the opportunity for you to get in some really good deep reflection. We had our first reflection workshop on the 6th. We have our second one on the 13th. And then we'll be doing a release of 2024 on that first day of the retreat. When you upgrade to VIP, you get access to day 2 and day 3 of the retreat, which is on the 17th and 18th. And both of those are going to be the alignment of what is most important to you. So we're going to be looking at your core values, what's coming through from your heart's desire as we move through. And I'm not talking about core values from picking from a list of words. I'm talking about the deep internal core values that you held in this last year and where you're headed into the new year. From that place, we will then set our goals for, we'll set our vision actually for 2025. We also have a goal workshop that we're doing on the 23rd. So there's a whole process, my friend, that we're going to go through. We'll create our vision boards and we'll really set this year off with complete alignment and a really solid plan. So I'm so blessed and honored to have you join us. So come on over to thepeaceteacher.com/reset. You'll find the link down below in the comments, in the description, and in our show notes. With that, my friend, this is your Sidereal astrology forecast for the week of January 13th through the 19th. We look forward to seeing you next time in our next video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, to the podcast, and share this with somebody who just may need to know this if they're on the spiritual path, a spiritual business owner, and it gets really lonely. So if they want some support, if you know they need support, have them come join us. I'd love to support you in this new year. With that, my friend, have a beautiful rest of your day and keep shining your unique light.